Today's class will be a mellow flow. So we'll be moving through the joints in a gentle way, moving through our sequences with breath. So overall, a practice that can create space in your mind and in your body, and just not allowing anything that shows up for you. There is no specific way that you need to be doing any of these postures, and at any time that something becomes a little bit too much, please rest in your child's pose. So with that said, let's begin in child's pose. So everyone, hands on knees, knees as wide as your mat and toes to touch. Sit back to your heels and stretch your arms all the way out in front of you. Big breath in. And as you exhale, soften and melt the chest down towards the floor. Maybe the chin reaches the floor, the forehead reaches the floor. And just tuning into your breath, into the body. With every exhalation, send that breath to the hips. Noticing any sensations that are coming up for you in this moment. And simply see them as sensations. Now as you breathe in, rise up onto hands and knees. Knees directly underneath your hips. And setting up the foundation of your hands, the index fingers pointing forward and each finger equally spread apart. And moving through a gentle cat-cow sequence, breathing in, lifting the pelvis, pressing the chest, the collarbones wide through the arms, and as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, navel in towards the spine and rounding and doming into your upper back, pressing the floor away from you. Inhale, lifting the hips, pressing the chest through the arms, gazing up towards the corner of the room, and then exhale, rounding the spine. Breathing in and out through the nose. And exhale. Inhaling, the pelvis lifts first, bone by bone. You work your way up the spine towards the neck, and the head lifts last. And as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone and you round your spine. Press the floor away. Feel the stretch between the scapula. Inhale, let's come back to a neutral spine and make circles around the wrists here, just warming up the wrists. Small circles, large circles, you choose. Pressing into all parts of the hands, the fingers, change direction, continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Now let's turn the fingertips to face the edge of the mat, the inner elbows pointing in towards one another here, and press the floor away, doming the upper back, and then slide and glide from side to side. Breathing in and breathing out. Turning the fingers towards the knees, gentle pulses back and forward. And if at any point this is quite intense, walk your knees towards the fingers. And this just removes some of that intensity. However, if you like a little bit more stretch, if that feels good for your body, walk your knees away. Nice. Now let's turn the fingers to point forward, back to their neutral space. Tuck your toes and sit back towards your heels. Okay, and then make sure all toes are tucked, not leaving anyone out. And sitting back, interlace the hands and just give the fingers, the hands, another circle around the wrists. stretching through the soles of the feet and the toes. And if this feels too much for you, just come out of it. Release the hands back towards the floor and pat the feet on top of the mat. If that feels good. Okay, now tuck the toes, lift the knees, press the hands through the floor, checking in with the foundation again with the hands, the index finger pointing forward. And we'll hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, navel close to the spine, and 1. Allow the hips to rise and lift up to the sky. And your knees can be bent here, come high up onto the toes, heels high, pressing the weight into the hands and especially into the fingers. So feel as though you're pressing down on a diagonal through the floor. And notice how that strengthens up and engages the forearms and the hands. And allow that energy to radiate up the arms, press the floor away, and then roll the upper arms outward externally. So we're wrapping the scapula, the shoulder blades, down the back, down the sides of the body. Now let's bend and straighten one leg at a time, just walking it out, and continue to press through one hand and gazing up the opposite side under the other arm, side to side. Moving with your breath, just stretching through the sides of the body, waking up the spine. Nice. Now bend the knees, hips high, heels high, press into the hands and roll your way forward, straightening out your legs into your plank pose. So these rolling planks, bend the knees, tilt the tailbone up, press the hips back and up. Straighten out the legs, inhale, forward into plank. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, slowly roll into your plank pose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now come high up onto your tiptoes and walk slowly towards the front of the mat, towards your fingers. You can come high up onto your tiptoes, pressing more into the fingers, and then slowly plant the feet down onto the floor, hips distance apart. Hold onto the elbows and sway from side to side. Letting go of the head, creating space between the bones and the neck and the upper back. Can you feel the weight of your body draping over your legs? Now bend the knees, let go of the elbows, drape the hands down and roll your way up to a stand. Take your hands all the way up to the sky, big breath in. And exhale, hands to heart center. And down by your sides. Big breath in, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale. And exhale. This time, inhale. All the way to the sky, gaze past the thumbs, and then exhale. I want us to fold forward, hinging from the hips, a gentle bend in the knees. Now take these blocks if you have them. If you don't, just plant the hands on the floor and bend the knees and grip. Step your right foot back and your left foot back. Plank pose, bend the knees, downward facing dog. Now bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Keep the left leg straight and straighten the right leg up to the sky, toes pointing down to the floor. Bend the knee, open the hip, but at the same time, see if you can press the right arm a little bit closer to the floor. It has a tendency to lift up. And allow some small circles to move into the hips. And then changing the direction. Three-legged dog. Right leg to the sky. Bend the right knee, come up high onto the left tiptoes, and right knee to right elbow. And then lower that right foot down to the floor beside the right hand. Okay, now we're in our lizard lunge. Just rocking back and forward. And if this place feels a little too much for you, you come high, well, into the middle height of the blocks. Or even the tallest height of the blocks. Breathing in and out through the nose. Nice. Now lower the left knee down to the floor softly and gently. And stretch the right hand forward, up and open. So we're rotating the rib cage to the right and reach back towards the left heel. Inhale, lift the right arm up and down and reaching the right elbow down to either the block in any height. So we have the middle height, or if you have the space in your hip, you can bring it down to the lowest height. And if you have a lot of space, and if it feels mellow to you, the right elbow down to the floor. And then inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, tapping the block or the floor with the forearm. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Now stretch back towards that left foot again. Curl the left heel in towards the hips with a flexed foot and just see if you can reach that foot. If you can hold on to it, that's great. If you can't, just reach for it. The action is the same. And exhale, rotating out of that position, setting up your blocks on their lowest height, and then back into downward facing dog. Toes together at the back of the mat, left leg to the sky, inhale. Bend the knee, small circles or large circles with the left knee, working through the hip. Change direction. Wrapping the left armpit down towards the floor. Now three-legged dog, left leg to the sky. Doesn't matter how high. Bend the knee, rolling forward into your high plank pose. And then maybe tapping the left elbow with the knee. And then stepping your foot beside the hand. And then your high lizard lunge, rocking back and forward. Again, choosing the height that suits your body best. Okay, now lower the right knee down to the floor. Stretch the left arm forward, up and open. Rotate, reach into the back of the room. Inhale, elbow or forearm to the block or floor. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. This time, reach up and over and reaching for that back right foot. And if that's too much for you, and if you can feel the cramp in the back of the hamstring, that's totally normal. I feel it too. And release. Hands to the blocks. Now this time, lift the right knee up and step forward into your active squat. Now with those two blocks, you can place either one or two just underneath the pelvis, and we move into our Passive squat. Press your elbows into the sides of your thighs, hands to your heart center. Keep your chest broad, your collarbones wide, and your face soft. Big breath in and out through the nose. Now stretch your hands forward and press your way into an active squat. Exhale, pull the elbows in towards the sides of the body, and exhale, reach your hips back and stretch your hands forward. Inhale, pull the elbows back close to the body, broad collarbones. Exhale, just warming up the thighs here. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Turn the toes forward, forward fold, setting up your blocks just in front of your feet here. Resting the hands down, bending the knees, maybe rounding the spine down towards the thighs. Now bend the knees, release the hands and roll your way up to stand. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the chest. Now turning your toes out as wide as the mat or slightly wider depending on the width of your hips, and we'll move into our active squat. Hands to the floor, step back into plank. Softly lower the knees down to the floor in the exhale, hips to the heel on the same exhale. As you inhale, I'd like you to pull your body through your upper arms. Untuck your toes. Now with the strength of your upper arms, press into the blocks and move through the tops of your feet. Rotate your arm bones outward externally and press your chest forward, navel close to the spine and up into the rib cage. And as you exhale, roll over your toes into downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Again, your knees can be bent here, your heels can be high. Inhale, high up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees, hips back. Step your right foot forward, your left foot forward. Active squat, big breath. Exhale, hands to chest. Inhale, rise. Exhale, active squat, hands to the floor. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, knees to the floor. Hips to your heels. Big breath in, pull your body through your arms. Keep your elbows close to your ribs, using the upper body strength here to press you into your upward facing dog, and your thighs are lifted. Externally rotate your arm bones, chest puffs forward as you exhale, downward facing dog. Moving slowly with control. High up onto the heels, bend the knees, hips towards the heels. Step, step, right foot, left foot to the front of the mat. Outside the hands, inhale, active squat. Exhale, stand. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Back into plank, big breath in. Exhale, knees down, hips to heels. Pull your body through, upward facing dog. Now, at any time you feel the blocks are just a little bit too much, they can add a little bit more activity to the movements, a little bit more intensity, if you like. So if that's too much for you, remove them, and then downward facing dog. High up onto the tiptoes, bend the heels, hips to heels. Step, step forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, active squatting. into plank pose. Knees down, hips to heels. Upward facing dog with or without your blocks. Engage the glutes, the backs of the thighs, navel to spine. And if this is a lot on your wrists, remember to press into the fingertips. Now roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Now slowly lower your knees to the floor. Knees as wide as the mat, toes to touch. Child's pose. Let's just place these blocks out of the way. And rest the chest down, the forehead down. Allowing the whole body to move into stillness here. Slowing down your practice. Noticing the heat that we have built has created some space in the tissues and the joints. And press into your hands. Come onto your knees, knees underneath the hips. Now reach the right arm up to the sky. Big breath in. And exhale, thread the needle. Let's pause for just a moment and then rise back up to the sky again. Rotating through the spine. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Now this time, exhale, pause. The temple of your head onto the floor and just walk your left hand forward. And if it feels okay, you can reach your left fingertips over to the right side, creating extra stretch through the left side of the body, the left shoulder maybe. And breathe into any tightness here. And let's walk our hand back to its original position and then reach the right arm up to the sky. Lower the right hand down to the floor, second side. Left arm up to the sky, big breath in. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Big breath in. And release. Lowering the left shoulder to the floor. Reach your left fingertips away. Walk your right fingertips forward. Pause there or walk your fingers over to the left side. Exploring the space in the back of the body, the side of the right side. Long inhales and exhales. And with every exhalation, see how much more you can soften. Now let's return back to center. Right hand under the right shoulder, press up. Downward facing dog. Pigeon pose is next. Right knee, right wrist. Just working your left foot back. Keep your left toes tucked here. And so that we can maintain some balance through the pelvis, we don't want the right hip to fall all the way down. So take the block underneath the right hip. And we can begin in this active position and notice what that does to the inner left thigh. And you could stay here. This is a great place to be. And just close your eyes. Or if you feel called to do so, you could maybe take that block and bring your forearms down to the block. With every exhalation, soften through the hip. Allow the hips to be a little heavier. And when you feel balanced on each side, you can tuck the left toes. Always moving, always adjusting, softening the body, softening the mind. And perhaps now your hips feel a little bit more open. You can see if removing the block adds a good sensation to the hips. Maybe removing the other block and stacking the hands, resting the head and the tops of the hands. Slowing down the breath. Settling into your space. And slowly rise up. No rush. Again, you can take these blocks back underneath your hands, tuck the toes, and press back into downward facing dog. And just pedal out your heels, straightening out your legs, and moving over to the second side. Left knee, left wrist. And your front leg doesn't need to be parallel with the front of the mat. When I want to keep the practice mellow, I'll take out a lot of the intensity so that I can soften more, so that I can settle the nervous system. And just checking in, scanning through the body with my mind, seeing where I can relax and soften. And take that block underneath the left hip this time. Checking in from this active place. And feeling a nice stretch to the right side. And perhaps that stretch will be different for me as it is for you. And then folding in. Untucking the toes and settling the mind and body. And also noticing how each side of the body feels different. The left side certainly feels much tighter than the right. And the sensations that I'm experiencing are a lot more intense. So allowing yourself to pause and breathe. And observing the sensations releasing and changing. And only if it feels right. Head to the hands. And becoming aware if your mind is wandering. And when it does, come back to the breath. Expanding the abdomen and releasing. Noticing the breath move in and out through the nose. And noticing the textures of your breath. Becoming curious about all of these sensations that are occurring as a result of the breath. Now slowly press yourself out of the posture. Lean over to the left side and bring your right leg forward and your left foot forward. Hands behind the thighs and roll yourself down onto your backs. And take your blocks by your sides here. Soles of the feet together and knees fall wide. And using the blocks here just to nestle into the thighs, just to support the thighs here. Removing intensity from the inner groin muscles. Releasing the shoulders down to the floor. Tucking the chin slightly. And this posture will be our final resting space. And you can always choose Shavasana, removing the blocks and lengthening your legs out long and resting there. However, if this Supta Baddha Konasana, this reclined bound angle pose feels good for you, rest here. Nothing left to do and nowhere to go. Soften the toes, the calf muscles, the knees. Releasing through the hips, the abdomen, and the low back. Melting through the chest, the upper back and shoulders. And allowing the face to completely soften. The jaw, cheekbones, and the backs of the eyes. Full permission to release and relax. Now feel free to stay here for as long as you like. I encourage you to stay that little bit longer. However, if you'd like to end the class with me, let's meet in a comfortable seat. Gently rolling over to one side and pressing your way up. Take a block. Sit on your block. Hands resting on the thighs, palms facing up. Now take your hands to your heart center and offer yourself gratitude for your practice today, for showing up. And I thank you for joining me. And I hope and I look forward to us practicing again soon. Have a beautiful rest of your day.